Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 62. Cobra Kai never dies.
Cobra Kai never dies.
So in honor of me finishing up the Cobra Kai series on Netflix the other day, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the whole finale and the show as a whole. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite parts of it, as far as like what I thought the show got right and how it was able to captivate so many people, as well as a few minor critiques of the show. I will make sure to warn you guys when the topic does come up, just in case you guys haven't seen it yet or plan on watching it. I also want to give some of my thoughts on what's been going on in politics these days, but of course from the perspective of encouraging good news and some positive discourse. I mainly want to talk about how we can point out good things that are going on, such as getting rid of unnecessary government spending and the overpaying of federal employees who don't belong there.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
As well as good potential stuff on the horizon when it comes to RFK getting in, or Kash Patel, without 100% endorsing or being on board with things that may or may not happen. You can be skeptical and optimistic at the same time as far as I see it. I see all these people on social media talking about, oh, it's all a trap, don't support this person's the Antichrist, this person's gonna kill all of us and lead us all down this horrible path.
You're all in danger.
And I'm just like, give it a rest, bro. We don't need that doom and gloom 24/7, and to be honest, we don't really need most of it at all. So we have all that and more in today's episode. I'm also going to be sharing a little snippet of Mike Posner's new song that I really loved and found the lyrics to be super empowering and super inspiring and super positive. So without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. For you guys to know, that must mean not subscribe to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this episode. Follow me on every platform. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links per shit are on my website, which is jaredbryanweiss.com. It's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me, as always, and the support is very much appreciated. So let's dive deeper now. Cobra Kai never dies. Let's get into my thoughts on the whole finale as well as the show as a whole. So this is my warning. If you're someone who hasn't yet watched the series or the series finale and you plan to, this is your warning to skip past this part of the video because I will be discussing what happened. So the series as a whole was in a lot of ways the Johnny Lawrence redemption story. In the Karate Kid movies, he was seen as the bad guy, or at least his sensei Kreese was, but what we actually learned from the start of the Cobra Kai series was that he had a troubled and difficult past, and this past ends up leading to him becoming a deadbeat dad, an alcoholic. But from the very start, I think all of us were actually rooting for him to turn his whole life around. We wanted to see him become friends with Daniel LaRusso, we wanted to see him take care of Robbie, his son, we wanted to see him become a good person, and thankfully, all those things ended up happening. For the most part, I guess you'd say.
Got him. No mercy.
There were a whole series of twists and turns that got him there. One really cool thing like I want to point out that you see is like by the end of the show we realize how there is no one-size-fits-all method for life or for karate. Balance and calmness and waiting for things to come to you is great. But as we see also, sometimes striking first is necessary. And doing that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. So it was really cool to see how Miyagi-Do and Mr. Miyagi's teachings end up merging with Cobra Kai, and this went for both training styles as well as lifestyles. Now moving on, I think the series as a whole was corny, but like in the best way for the most part. Now of course, some parts were a bit over the top, unbelievable, or hard to believe, like starting a whole war basically over a karate match, or having a kid die, or all the deaths that happened throughout the series, or how, well I think karate and self-defense are awesome, and if that's your thing that's great. The Cobra Kai series of course made it seem like the whole school and the whole country was so invested in this, and I get it, to make something convincing you do have to make it appear as like ultra important, and this is like the only focus that's going on in the town, the movie, etc. And it's almost like how I've watched a bunch of basketball documentaries over the years, and it's like you would think to yourself, after watching this, that like this one game was a matter of life or death, based on how it's covered. So I'm all for making the thing appear as ultra important, but if we're being totally honest, it did feel like a little bit over the top at times, with these knife fights.
No mercy. No mercy.
No mercy!
No mercy.
No mercy.
No mercy.
Or how Miguel fell 10 stories down in the school building and like almost died. Or you've chosen getting his back slashed open by a sword in the fight with Terry Silver.
We have to cut the head off the snake.
Hi, Daniel-san. I can do that.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa, no, I didn't.
And also some parts were a bit too violent for me and my liking. And I would say like that's probably my overall biggest criticism of the show, because I'm not someone who likes seeing blood and gore all the time, and violence that lasts for as long as it did during certain episodes. I mean, like, your heart can only take so much pounding and drama. Or at least mine can. But overall, the show was nostalgia that was done the right way. That was full of new stories, as well as a redemption for past characters as well. I think it was like really cool how the show brought together my family and friends, as I'm sure it did many others as well, because it was the perfect mix of cool 80s style movies and music with new school themes and concepts as well.
One of you guys named Michael?
It's Michaela.
Whatever. This other app's telling me I gotta pick up a guy named Jimmy John.
I think one reason why the show did so well and why it was as popular as it was, especially as a reboot, is because it wasn't only focused on the past, but yet it was cleverly able to intersperse old and new stories in this perfect balance, and also with a ton of cliffhangers, and something like I loved, of course, was seeing all the life lessons, whether from Mr. Miyagi, whether from Daniel LaRusso, or even coming from Johnny Lawrence's whole life transformation.
We do whatever it takes to keep our heads above water. We do whatever it takes to keep moving forward. We do whatever it takes to win!
Or Miguel's perseverance in getting back into fighting, Robbie's whole story, Sam's story, Tori's story, etc., etc. There were a ton of great themes throughout all the seasons, and to be honest, I'm someone who really doesn't like a lot of new shows, but this one in particular really captivated my interest, as well as the interest of my family and friends. Did I love every single episode? No. As I mentioned, some of the episodes went a bit too far for my liking. But could this whole Miyagi-verse thing, or Karate-verse, actually be the new Avengers or Marvel universe? Possibly. I mean, like, I've definitely been hearing a lot about spin-offs, or even like a new Karate Kid movie that I think is coming out soon too. So if there's any other Cobra Kai fans out there, let me know what you guys thought of the finale, or of the show as a whole, or of the series in general. Oh, and also one more thing. While I thought the last episode was fantastic, whether with the whole Rocky training scenes, or Johnny being able to redeem himself with Daniel as his sensei.
Pretty good at the sensei shit. Good. Because break's over.
And beating this big jerk who seemed unstoppable. And I also loved how it was the senseis themselves who finished off the fighting on the show. We didn't hear anything about Kreese or Silver. Now, of course, as we saw in the episode before that, Kreese and Silver died.
Let's do this.
So be it.
But it would have been interesting to hear how everyone reacted to it. So that's my only critique of the last episode, but like overall I loved it. Now the next topic I want to get into is a bit of politics, but of course from a more encouraging, positive standpoint, and positive news standpoint, because I'm tired of all the fear-mongering, and I feel like the whole doom and gloom narrative has been so overplayed by now.
I think I'm getting tired of it.
It's like I see some people out there who will post one day that like, the government wants us all to die, and they're putting chips in our brains and chips in our foods, and if you don't believe everything that I'm saying, then you're the worst person, and you're an absolute moron. And this isn't even talking about the people who aren't thinking for themselves. This is actually referring to people who should know better. Or at least who I think should know better by this time. Then like, the very next post will be, they want you to live in fear.
I don't get it.
Or, why are you guys so afraid of everything? And I'm just like, maybe take some accountability. Take a few steps back, take a chill pill, and stop always pushing fear and worry and divisiveness.
Look at you.
Or it's like those same people, one post is, look at all these dumb sheep, look at all these brainwashed people, you're all part of the problem, or all of you losers need to wake up because I've woken up and I'm better than you, and none of you can think as well as me, and then like the very next post is, they want us divided. So as I'm always saying, awareness to the agenda, yes, good thing, but don't get so wrapped up in it, like you become the very thing that you hate and the very thing that you've been talking about as despising. My philosophy is be part of the change and be part of the solution, and empower people by showing them good things around us too. And speaking on this topic of showing people good things, and things to at the very least be hopeful about, you can't acknowledge that something going on is good without the person or the whole thing being 1000% good and perfect. Because it's like, otherwise you guys will sound like a bunch of perpetual victims.
Baby. Big baby.
You're both acting like a couple of babies.
And hey, maybe that's how you guys make your money or keep your followers engaged. But I'm just like, a lot of you guys in the whole conspiracy and truther community, which I consider myself to be a part of, sometimes you guys actually sound just as bad as the other side, or the far left with how you need to find fault with everything that Trump does, when I think the actual issue is, and this goes for all sides, don't put any politician or any celebrity, or any person, to be honest, on a pedestal.
You put her on a pedestal. I put them on a dental chair.
And don't expect anyone to save you. Because that's on you and will always be on you, no matter how good the government is, or how bad it is, your decisions have to be up to you. Because even if the government does operate like the way that it should be, and doesn't actually provide a fertile soil for good things to happen on, your life and your decisions are still going to be up to you.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it.
It wants part of me.
But having said that, you can still say this is good or this is bad without it being 1000% endorsement or 1000% anti-endorsement. That's all I'm saying. So it's like moving along. No matter what you guys think of Elon or RFK, a lot of things like these guys are doing are, as far as I see them, undoubtedly good. Whether it comes to DOGE or when it comes to calling out all the chemicals in foods, as well as calling out the dangers in the whole pharmaceutical industry. And I actually have a very good video coming from Andrew Schultz where he actually explains how if you're someone who can't get on board with what DOGE is doing, that's just like, who are you protecting and like, what are you hiding?
The perception at least is like, I don't know. I think people should be a little bit concerned about this a little bit. Like if you have a company, right, or you have a private investigation or whatever it is, whatever you want to call DOGE, a federal investigation into corruption in these government agencies, the American people right now, all-time low confidence in government institutions, right? We know that for a fact. We do not trust politicians. We don't trust government institutions at all. All-time low confidence. When you got a guy coming in going, yo, I'm going to start vetting these government institutions to see if there's some corruption, if they're hiding some money.
Who's vetting this guy?
Hold on. Let me just get it all out. You might be logical here. I'm just telling you, like, emotionally how people are reacting. I don't trust the government. I feel like they're trying to fuck me. Eggs cost $50. This guy's coming in and going, I'm going to look into this shit because I think there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of waste, and people are getting rich on the side on your money. The second he says he's going to do that, you have this immediate, massive blowback on this guy, right? To me, if you also felt like the government has some inefficiencies and the government has low confidence and the government has this bureaucracy that might be getting in the way of the American people getting what they want, if you're a Democrat as well, you should go, yeah, we should look into that. We should expose any corruption, Republican or Democrat.
It sounds good on his face. But
I'm just saying, real quick.
Okay.
If just looking into something, there's pushback, you hiding something. That's what I'm like. Like, for example, if the police show up to the house.
I don't think it's pushback, though.
Let me just.
No, there is pushback.
There's crazy pushback.
No, it's not pushback.
Hold on. Let me just get it out. If the police show up to the house and they're like, we'd like to go in your basement. And the guy's like, why do you want to go into, what, you can't go into my basement. No, we have a, whatever that thing is called, to look into your basement. You can't go to, as a policeman, I'm going, there's some shit in that motherfucking basement. If you are fighting.
Or you just know your rights and you know that
no,
you can't search my house without a warrant.
I got the warrant. I got a warrant.
But you got a warrant, they don't got to ask.
Well, he got a warrant.
Yeah. But my thing
Those got a warrant.
No, they don't.
They have the right to do it.
Who says who?
The president.
So once again, to be clear, I'm not telling you guys that you have to fully trust any one person or to outsource your power to them, but auditing the government and finding unnecessary spending and getting rid of that waste is a good thing. What happens next? We'll get to that when it comes.
We get there when we get there.
But don't let that stop you from acknowledging all the good things that are going on and all the corruptions being exposed. And furthering this topic, I read a very good post coming from Alex Zek the other day which said, it's okay to be highly skeptical of Trump, cautiously aware that he's likely dismantling the old tyrannical system while simultaneously farming for support from people in the freedom movement. Given the last 5 years, many are desperate for a savior, to usher in a new AI-based technocratic system alongside his buddies Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, while also laughing when he says funny stuff and appreciating when he takes actions that genuinely weaken the existing tyranny. When you see the long game, you can prepare more effectively. When you don't outsource your power, it becomes easier to observe a little more objectively and with caution. People on the internet will make it seem like you can't hold both positions, but you totally can. Very well said. And then furthermore, studying the effects, studying all the harmful effects of vaccines is what we should be doing. Anyone who tells you otherwise isn't promoting actual science. And it's like, as far as I see it, people who are fearing that looking into the dangers of vaccines and looking into all the effects of heavy metals being injected into the bloodstream, as well as being against looking into unnecessary government spending, if there wasn't anything wrong and there wasn't anything to hide, what would you guys have to fear? And it's like, the science is never settled on anything. I mean, look at the very definition of what science is. And as far as I see it, and going a step further, as all the things like the whole DOGE audit has continued to show us, there legitimately should not be an IRS, nor should there be a Federal Reserve, especially based on where all this money is being sent. I mean, have you guys looked into like all the programs like all this money is going to? And this, I'm sure a lot of this is probably designed to get us all riled up.
We should take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else.
But I think generally speaking, this actually is objectively a good thing. And this is also why I can't even listen to any of these black-pilled truthers anymore. It's like they, along with the whole Orange Man bad people, can't admit anything good that's going on.
Well, this sucks.
and I don't care what your politics are, but two things can be right at the same time. As I heard Donald Jeffrey saying the other day on the Union of the Unwanted podcast, a lot of these people out there just don't know how to take a win. Just take one step at a time. We have to stop worrying about all the terrible things that may or may not happen. But like beyond that, set your own standards super high, be kind, treat everyone with respect, treat your body right, help empower others, and then take the wins where you could get them from the people in power. But ultimately, above all that, empower yourself to the highest degree, and then whatever comes from them is just like a bonus. And that's going to be creating a more fertile soil for more success to happen. And yes, just to reiterate, no one is above criticism, but real, genuine, constructive criticism and creating awareness is way different from being blackpilled and from blackpilling everyone else. We can point out when someone does something that is very good and that's objectively a good thing, while also calling them out when they do something bad.
Oh, hell no.
Two things can be true at the same time, and not everything is black and white, as I'm always saying. But there's a lot of people these days who I don't even know what they stand for anymore, because all I see them talking about is what they're against. And it's like, if I want to compare this to my whole healing journey, it would be like the equivalent of me removing all the toxins from my body and from my life without putting the good stuff back in. And doing things that way, the body can never heal. And that's the same way I actually view our whole environment and the whole political climate and our world as a whole. We can't only be focusing on everything that's wrong with the world, everything that might go wrong. We do have a lot of reasons to be hopeful in our own lives and everything that's going on in the world. You just have to find it, seek it out, point it out, and highlight it. But don't get trapped in this whole fear-mongering and fear-based news and seeing everything that's wrong. Because if you do that, you're going to find that also. Now, to close things up in this week's episode, I do want to share a snippet of Mike Posner's new song from his new album, which came out a few days ago, because I personally found this perspective and the lyrics to be very empowering and very positive, and that's what I'm all about, obviously. So I will most likely have to put some other music over it in order not to get copyrighted or flagged on this, but hopefully I can still keep the lyrics in there and keep the message in there without having to overdo the other music. Let's listen though.
Sometimes I feel like torture, like you're on a roller coaster, but you gotta keep moving forward. Don't look back, don't look back. And when times start getting harder, you know I will soon get stronger. Don't cry for a moment longer. Don't look back, don't look back. Time to make a change. Time to make a change.
So, very powerful, especially because, as we all know, life can be a roller coaster at times. Our emotions can take us to the highest of highs and also the lowest of lows. But like, it's never too late to make a change. And as long as you don't give up, as long as you keep moving forward, you're gonna be good eventually. Everything in life is temporary, so nothing good is gonna last forever, but also nothing bad is gonna last forever. But if you choose to focus on the good, focus on the positive, focus on empowering yourselves, you're gonna start to see more of that in your life. You're gonna have more opportunities in your life. And on the flip side, if you take all the challenges and all the bad stuff that happens in your life and see it as God wants you to get stronger and learn lessons from those things, you're going to have the ultimate perspective on life.
Life shows no mercy, so neither do we.
Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding, stay critical thinking. Catch you guys next time. Peace.